Well, we're back. And I want to go ahead and show you around just a wee little bit to give you an idea what the possibilities are. Now, you can see doorknobs and all sorts of cool things. For some people, they haven't seen a lot of this before, but this is called house jewelry. Things that you can put in your house to dress up, even hang clothes on, but also for operating your doors or for putting over your doorbell if you wanted to, or if you wanted to fancy up a door and put a doorknob on it and make it a pretty room. Would you believe you can actually convert new doors into old? Some of these things are just cool. Yeah, this is actually really nice bronze. And the things that we're going to be selling, the options to be able to go ahead and pay for them in silver, silver nickel, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars pre-1965. And so that way, things that you might ordinarily think, oh, wow, how much is that? Well, in this case, once upon a time, it was $55. That would be effectively 50 cents. 50 cents. So if you wanted to buy something to decorate, you could actually use pieces like this and have them only cost you $1 or 50 cents in silver. If you collected silver once upon a time, or if you just go to the store and buy it, that means you can get these things for effectively 1/3 to 1/4 of the cost of taking money and going to the store and buying silver and bringing it here to be able to go ahead and to convert it into hardware. Now, I say hardware, I mean lots of different kinds of hardware, not just any kind of hardware, but fancy hardware. Where you normally might spend, if you're into a chapel, well, look at that. Oh, man. You might spend, on a piece like this, at least $600. But if you brought silver coins, pre-1965, oh, makes you believe you might get that for as little as $6 in silver. Look at this for a doorbell cover. I put a brand new doorbell behind here, and the little black thing sticks out. And behind it, you can have really a cheap doorbell button, but that's a way to hide it nicely. It's just one of a number of them. And many other things, pocket door hardware, for example. All of this is part of a sale. I want to go ahead and be able to convert silver coins, American coins, into value without everybody paying a bunch of taxes for all the inflation, which wasn't their fault. So if you buy in silver, I'm going to pay you what silver is worth. I don't know, it's things like this. This is for a lamp. It's a base, but it'd be very easy to go ahead and wire it again. And there's a bunch of different types of globes. These are to go on your bulbs. If you want to just add a little umbrella to your light bulb in glass, and that's the blue version. Once upon a time, I had the little women that stood underneath that. This is the umbrella for the light for the women. Other things you might find interesting as you go along looking at what the possibilities are for using old hardware to integrate into your projects, whether it's stained glass. I have some pretty cool stained glass. In this case, if you had some silver you saved up when you were young and you have very little into it, rather than sell it off and take it to a coin shop, you could actually bring it in and buy stuff and get it valued at face value. What's that mean? $1 get taxed as $1. And that means that if you bought something you normally wouldn't be able to get. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, if you got a set, and I happen to have a set, or you got one that maybe looked like that, and it was functional, that'd be pretty cool. But if you got it for $1 or $2 each, silver coin. Now, silver eagles, of course, I like those even better, and give more for them. Some of the things that you'll see, even like this old billiards rack, Some of the balls are chalk balls, old balls. Or, for example, that's called a skyscraper globe. And you can see, beautiful globe, whoops, there you go. So all sorts of goodies hidden around, besides all the doorknobs. And some of the doorknobs have a lot of meaning. Some people have a hard time seeing that, for example, but that was an organization, and people had doorknobs that actually had the crosses and organizations of the time represented on their doors. Some of you may figure out what that was. And then there's also this one, which is interesting. As you're walking down the hallway, that little back part would be sticking out. Yeah, interesting. To kind of give you the feeling that you might be getting watched. Once upon a time, as a matter of fact, in the USA, even in Pennsylvania, when I used to go on home tours, this is how you distinguished who would go into what room based on what color the doorknob was. So if you didn't have the right color skin, you didn't go in that room. A lot of history, a lot of symbolism in doorknobs, and people don't realize the symbolism is in there. But if you look here, for example, I love this one. See the dragons? There you go. Isn't that gorgeous? There's a doorknob that goes with that, and there's more. Some of these are simple as for your WOW, W-O-W, Woodsman of the World. But it makes a great doorknob if you're taking that hole and you put somebody's eye in there. Just take a picture of it, laminate it, because then you can flip it over and make it be mom's room. Yeah. What a cool thing to do. And I have several of those. Some of these are just plain beautiful. And some of them actually have, like for example, Chicago. That one says actually Chicago, City of Chicago. That's their school board. Of course, you can make all this stuff with tax money in the old days. You know, this is sort of arts and crafts. You can see how that works. There's actually some cool doorknobs that go with some of these patterns. And you wouldn't think so, but for example, if you look at this, you'll see there's lions, there's a fortress, there's a lion's head, and some of them you have fox heads and dolphins and cherubs. That's assuming you can see the cherub, and you can see how elaborate some of these plates get. And so, if you could buy a plate like this, and I could come up with a knob, and it could turn in your bedroom and open it up, wouldn't that be cool compared to something normal? And my goal is to go ahead and take images of these in 3D, and that way be able to print them out again and have us be able to duplicate them at reasonable prices. And that way you can have something like this on your door in your bedroom and maybe spend $10 or $15 and have a kid living locally print it out for you on his 3D printing machines. That's where we're going in the world. And if we do that, then something like this, it would have been $195. You might get for $19. Right now, in silver, oh, that's really probably on sale. $1 silver coin, $2 silver coin for anything you see. $2 silver dollars. This is a giant lion on it, and there's a cherub on top. Oh, all this stuff is doorknobs, door hardware. It's so nice to be able to offer this up for silver prices. Now, you know what this is. These are some of the old grills, and they actually have the ribs on the back of it so you can open and close them and use them as heating grills and other things like that. We don't make anything like that anymore. I showed you earlier that really nice doorbell. This is actually for the pocket door hardware, and I have 20,000 pieces of hardware that hopefully will go ahead and be able to get good images of it all and be able to have 3D quality printable images. So we can take a knob, whoops, and be able to take and do the fronts and the backs and make them again and be able to have them usable and not necessarily made out of the really super expensive materials that most people can't afford. So if I could do something like this and you could have on your bedroom. Even though it wouldn't be bronze, this is bronze, and this is available, by the way. You could have the real thing. This is a Corbin, and this was actually from 1895, and this one would be about 85 cents in silver coins. 85 cents. Seems too cheap, doesn't it? Now, wow, Woodsman of the World with a doorknob on it, or Mom's room, and just put a little picture in that hole of Mom's eyeball looking out of that room. I don't think anybody's going to bother that room. So imagine if you wanted anything from hinges to doorknobs out of glass from the 1830s, or perhaps you want to have lighting fixtures. I've got a few, and plumbing fixtures. Got a few. Ooh, can't see me, can you? So let me know. Let me know. There's so many things that you could actually be able to use. For example, look at this. This is known as a starfish. If you can see the starfish, there you go. And the starfish pattern, for example. So much more. We'll get into it when there's more light. Thank you, everybody. You have a good night.